Let's try this again from Lowell Park as the Falmouth Commodores travel to Cotuit to square off against the Cotuit Kettleers, resuming a game that took place all the way back on July 5th with the Kettleers leading 2-1 here in the top of the third. I'm Alex Rocco, joined alongside by my broadcast partner Joe Pratt here on the Kettleers Digital Network. And Joe, this was a game that Cotuit got off to a hot start. Easton Winfield laced a 2 RBI double back in the first inning. Falmouth scored a run in that top of the second, and then the rain came to Lowell Park.
Yeah, it did. I mean, this game being canceled or actually halted and suspended in the middle of that top of the third inning. They had runners on first and second, and 0-1 count to Zion Rose, and then after that we weren't able to play baseball. So we're back here a week and a half later, it seems, August 3rd. We're just getting started here in just a few moments at noon local time, but yeah, the first time that a game has been suspended for the Kettleers and Commodores since last season. You have to go back to July 4th when these two teams played. Went to Gov Fuller Field, played similarly into the top of the third inning. Kettleers had a runner in scoring position. They were leading in that game, but then the rain came in and they had to play that a couple of days later. A bit more or a bit longer of a wait to get this game underway once again, but still similar starting lineup, some changes, but it should be a good one. As we'll go ahead and give you that starting lineup right now. It'll be Robbie Bolin. He will bat leadoff in replacement of Jackson Willits, who was starting at second base, so we'll have to get into a lot of the fielding alignment in a few moments, but the lineup is as follows. Robbie Bolin first, Zion Rose bats second, Jason Jones will move from right to third base and bat third. Trent Caraway is in the same slot as the DH batting fourth, Jack Bell in the lineup batting fifth, Donovan LaSalle bats sixth, Patrick Roach replaces Dylan Carey and bats seventh, Carson Bowen, the catcher who was catching in the original game, will stay in that 8 slot and do the catching once again, and Isaiah Barquette still batting ninth but makes the switch from first to second.
A lot of defensive changes for the Falmouth Commodores. Just a couple of changes for the Cotuit Kettleers. Nathan Hall coming in the lineup for Max Ballou. He'll play in center field. Timo Becerra switches from shortstop to third, and Luke Hansen goes from third to shortstop. And Taylor C. got the start for the Kettleers. He will be replaced by Tyler O'Neill, and C in that game with 2 innings, allowed 4 hits, gave up just the 1 run, walked a batter and struck out 1, and what was appearing to be another solid start for C.
Yeah, it did look like it. I mean, we just saw C a couple of days ago playing here at home when he gave up 2 solo home runs, and that was a game that they lost to Hyannis, and he worked really well through those first 5 innings and demanded the ball into the 6th frame. But Taylor C., obviously with the rain coming in and with the way that this pitchers have been scheduled and the rotation of starting pitchers, that he's not available today, so Tyler O'Neill will get the start. He most recently pitched back on July 30th, so that was about 5 days ago now, so he's in line to get the start today. We'll see how long he goes into this ball game because Cotuit has used a lot of arms in the past couple of days, but one positive from the 10-9 loss last night was that every single pitcher that got into the game was actually able to work their way out of innings. They didn't have to pull guys and make any mid-inning changes in terms of pitchers. So it'll be Tyler O'Neill today getting another somewhat start for the Kettleers. Has already started 2 games so far.
You mentioned the 4 pitchers used last night in the 10-9 loss on the road against Wareham when the Cotuit Kettleers were leading 8-0 through 2 1/3 innings. And Joe, how do they bounce back after such a demoralizing loss?
Yeah, it was a demoralizing loss because you had such a great start in that game, took an 8-0 lead, 15 hits in the first 3 innings, but then it was all Wareham after that. So you really are just hoping that you're able to put in a game where you're consistent 1 through 9, and I think that's something that Cotuit has struggled with in these last couple days, and I think that's a benefit for today's game because you already played about 2 innings. So when you struggle to put together a full 9-inning ball game, maybe 7 innings will do the trick, and so that's what they're going to try to do today. And offensively last night, you can't ask for much more. Every single player getting at least 1 hit in the starting lineup, and that offensive output that you saw at the start of the game is exactly what you need. Just got to figure out a way to keep it going throughout the rest and keep your foot on the gas throughout the rest of that game. They weren't able to, so let's see if they can find some luck today offensively.
18 hits for the Kettleers last night, this being the first of 2 games against the Falmouth Commodores today, finishing up the final 7 innings here at Lowell Park, and later they'll make the trek to Gov Fuller Field and square off against the Commodores once again at 6 p.m. Just 2 days remaining in the regular season, the Kettleers with 3 games left, and this playoff race continuing to heat up.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you look at the top of the standings here with 3 points separating Hyannis, Cotuit, and Wareham at the top. I mean, Hyannis with 22 wins, Wareham with 21 wins, and those two teams actually playing against each other tonight at McKeon Park, so we'll definitely have to follow that one along closely, as we'll be following that from Falmouth later today. But this is a massive game for the Kettleers, because you can get a win and get a leg up on Hyannis once again, because all you really need to do is tie Hyannis for first place in the division. They own the tiebreaker, as they do against Wareham and Bourne. So if you're able to set yourself up nicely, you got to get the job done today and tomorrow, and that starts right now.
So digging in is Zion Rose. Rose was 0 for 1 in the lone at-bat he had in the first inning. The count is 0-1. The first pitch from Tyler O'Neill, a bunt attempt. The throw down from Klein to second. Not in time, as moving up to second is Robbie Bolin. Taking third is Isaiah Barquette. And on the first pitch of the resume game, some small ball action in the Falmouth Commodores, taking some extra bases.
Yeah, I love the aggression. No better way to catch this infield off guard, and it's kind of a new infield as you see Luke Hansen gets his first appearance for the Kettleers at shortstop, and now immediately they're up against it.
1-1 pitch waved on and missed by Rose. So taking a look at how Cotuit aligns defensively, Brandon Compton, Nathan Hall, and Devin Taylor in right field. From third to first, it's Timo Becerra, Luke Hansen, Jaron Advincula, and Tanner Thatch. And getting the start behind the dish is Matt Klein. As Rose pokes this one in a short center field, that'll dunk down. As 2 runs come in to score, Hall slow fielding that ball as Zion Rose picks up a 2 RBI single. And just like that, on the first at-bat of the resume game, Falmouth take a 3-2 advantage.
Yeah, well, what a start for the Commodores. That one just off the end of the bat of Rose, just enough to get out of the infield and score 2, as that one was just perfectly placed, softly hit enough to bring both of those runs in. And yeah, just a great start for Falmouth as they overtake the Kettleers immediately after we get started here. It's now 3-2.
So here's the right fielder, Jason Jones. With Rose leading off first, Jones swings at a first pitch, lofts that foul down the first baseline. Jones picked up the first hit for the Commodores back on July 25th. It was a 2-out double, but he was stranded just a batter later when Trent Caraway grounded out to Tanner Thatch at first base. Jones has had a productive summer, hitting .284, this marking his 30th game played as a Commodore. The 0-1 pitch laid off outside. The count evened up at 1-1. And for Tyler O'Neill, this is his third appearance. Has a 7.11 ERA, has an 0-1 record. As the 1-1 pitch dots the top of the strike zone, Jones lays off as O'Neill pulls ahead in the count, 1-2. But O'Neill has struggled so far this season, allowing 13 hits in just 6 1/3 innings pitched. As the 1-2 pitch spoiled once again by Jones on the 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Made his Kettleer debut back on July 21st in a game against YD where he went 2 1/3, allowed 6 hits, 4 runs. As the 1-2 hit softly to Advincula at second, goes to short for 1. The relay throw in the dirt, not in time as Jones legs it out. So Cotuit, they get the first out of the inning on the fielder's choice by Jason Jones.
Yeah, nice job by Tyler O'Neill just to get some weak contact there and pick up a much-needed first out in this inning, as this is a scary part of the lineup that you're going to have to face here with Jason Jones, now Trent Caraway. Jack Bell hasn't had too much time as much as the rest of the guys on the roster, but just to get that singular out is super important.
Definitely a dangerous part of the order, as here's the cleanup hitter, Trent Caraway. First offering from O'Neill, well outside to the righty. Caraway hitting at a .259 clip this summer, 3 home runs, 18 RBIs. As Jones takes a lead off first, the 1-0 pitch popped softly down the right field line. Giving it a look is Devin Taylor, but he will run out of room as that ball just drops down the right field line. Taylor flips it to a couple of fans, leading over the fence down that right field line. Caraway coming off of his freshman season at Oregon State, where he played in 24 games, hitting .247 as the 1-1 pitch waved on and missed by Caraway. Nice pitch by O'Neill, pulling the strings on the designated hitter. The 1-2 on the way. Laid off at the top of the strike zone. 91 miles an hour from Tyler O'Neill. This past season at Bucknell had a 5-5 record, a 4.89 ERA, making 12 starts. Pitched in 70 innings, striking out 71 batters. The 2-2 pitch hit on the ground to the shortstop. Hansen goes to second for one. The relay throw in time. They got him. Tyler O'Neill works a 6-4-3 inning-ending double play, but not before the Commodores tack on 2 runs after the 2 RBI single by Zion Rose. So we head to the bottom of the third with the Commodores leading the Kettleers 3-2 here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Operating on Cape Cod since 1988, Advanced Embroidery has garnered national awards in embroidery and screen printing. They offer screenings on golf shirts, Oxford shirts, jackets, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and bags. Advanced Embroidery will print your company's or team's logos anywhere. Thousands of satisfied customers can attest for Advanced Embroidery's attentive customer service, tight quality control, and quick turnaround time. They're open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday on 38 Plant Road in Hyannis.
Beacon Gardens is a full-service garden center right here in Mashpee. They sell a variety of landscaping materials and seasonal produce to both consumers and landscaping professionals around the Barnstable Village. Stop by and see all Beacon Gardens has to offer at 182 West Barnstable Road in Austerville.
The Kettleers baseball clinics are well underway in the summer of 2024, offering boys and girls ages 6 through 17 with the opportunity to learn from some of the most experienced coaches and some of the top college baseball players in the country. With no prior baseball experience necessary, the camps teach kids the fundamentals of baseball, as well as good citizenship, sportsmanship, and character. With just a few weeks of camp left, time is running out. So to sign up, head over to info.collegebaseballcamps.com/CK. Again, that's info.collegebaseballcamps.com/CK. We hope to see you there.
Jaden Newt takes the bump here in the bottom of the third with the Commodores leading the Kettleers 3-2 after the 2 RBI single by Zion Rose in the top half of the inning. And leading things off for Cotuit is Brandon Compton. And Joe, why don't you take us through how Cotuit lines up?
Yeah, you just mentioned Brandon Compton. He's batting in the 2-hole, so Tanner Thatch is the leadoff hitter, then Brandon Compton. Devin Taylor bats third. Easton Winfield stays in the 4 slot and bats there. Matt Klein batting 5th. Nathan Hall replaces Max Ballou in the 6th spot in the order, and he's playing in center field. And then 7, 8, 9 is the exact same. Jaron Advincula, Timo Becerra, and Luke Hansen.
So it is the lefty Brandon Compton digging in against Jaden Newt. Compton already 1 for 1. Came in to score on the 2 RBI double by Easton Winfield back in the first inning on July 25th. The first pitch from the righty Newt looked at for strike 1 in against Compton. Newt stands at 6'4", 225 pounds. Attends LSU, making his 6th appearance as Compton shoots this one the other way. That'll dunk down in the left center field alleyway as Compton takes the turnaround first. He will put the brakes on, so Brandon Compton picks up his 2nd single. And the Kettleers have a leadoff man on here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, wasting no time, just like he did last night in Wareham. 2 singles in the first 2 innings for Brandon Compton. Picked up another RBI, scored 2 runs, but just like the rest of this Kettleers offense, he fell silent after the 5th frame.
Digging in is Devin Taylor. Had a pair of doubles last night, and the loss against Wareham also picked up a few RBIs. Now he's hitting .282 this season with 4 doubles, 5 home runs, 15 RBIs. The 1-0 pitch from Newt. Taylor chops this one foul down the first base line, kicks off the base of the Falmouth dugout down that first base line. But for Newt, has a 2-0 record at a 8.59 ERA through 7 1/3 innings pitched this summer. He's given up 11 hits, 7 earned runs, as the 1-1 offering taken outside to the lefty. Command has been an issue. He's walked 5 hitters in those 7 1/3 innings pitched, also hit 2 batters. As the 2-1 to Taylor misses up in the strike zone as Taylor in the driver's seat up 3-1. Walked in his first at-bat against the starter MJ Sayo, who went 2 innings, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, walked 2 batters. The 3-1 to Taylor, fouled hard on the fence. Cotuit looking to tie this game up at 3. The payoff pitch, a high pop-up. Taking off the mask is the catcher Carson Bowen. Now camping underneath it is Jason Jones, who nearly falls to the ground but hauls in the pop-up for the first out.
Yeah, just a frustrating plate appearance for Devin Taylor, who had a couple of those last night later on in that ball game, mainly in the first inning, though, where he had the bases loaded but then popped out on the infield. And it just seems like he has been up there battling every time he's up there and just really struggling to make strong contact when down 2 strikes.
So here's Easton Winfield. Didn't appear in last night's loss. Takes the first pitch low and inside for ball 1. It's been a tough stretch for Easton Winfield. His last hit came against the Commodores. It was a 2 RBI double. As the 1-0 pitch taken high and away for ball 2. Excluding the double in that game, Winfield 1 for his last 19 with 9 strikeouts. Got off to a hot start. Had 9 hits in his first 24 at-bats with 3 RBIs. As the 2-0 to the lefty, hitting the left field going back is Zion Rose, but he camps underneath it for the second out as Winfield hit it into left field, but that finds the glove of Rose for out number 2.
Well, that's what you like to see, though, from Winfield, who really seemed really uncertain at the plate the last time we saw him up there. It was a couple days ago against Hyannis, where facing those pitchers for Hyannis, they were clearly throwing only breaking balls to him, and he just couldn't figure those out. So it's nice to see him giving a ball a ride, but it still ends up being the second out.
So here's the catcher, Matt Klein. First offering from him, taken high for ball 1. Klein also didn't play in last night's game, but he's been on a tear as of late, has his batting average all the way up to .375 as he shoots this one hard on the ground to the shortstop Jack Bell, who takes it to the second base bag himself for 6 unassisted to end the bottom of the 3rd. So Jaden Newt allows the leadoff single to Brandon Compton, but goes 1-2-3 against Devin Taylor, Easton Winfield, and Matt Klein. As we're through 3 here from Lowell Park, Falmouth leading Cotuit 3-2.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Five, 6, and 7 due up for the Falmouth Commodores. Here to begin the bottom of the 4th as you're taking a look at head coach Mike Roberts looking to steer the ship in the right direction for the Kettleers, falling in their last 4 consecutive contests. Last night being arguably their worst loss of the season, had an 8-0 lead after 2 1/3 innings of play. But ever since that top of the 3rd, it was all Wareham. They scored 10 runs, capturing the 10-9 victory over the Kettleers. But here's the shortstop, Jack Bell. Made the final play just an inning ago. Takes a first pitch strike from Tyler O'Neill. Bell coming into the ballgame for Gavin Keelan, who hit a leadoff double against Taylor C. in that first inning. Count evened up at 1-1 against the lefty. Bell playing in his 17th game this summer, hitting just .111, has 5 hits through 45 at-bats. One of them has left the yard as it takes a big cut out of the 92-mile-an-hour fastball but waves through it. So O'Neill up in the count 1-2. The righty kicks and deals the 1-2. Got him swinging. Jack Bell down on strikes for the first time today as Tyler O'Neill picks up his first K, as Bell down on strikes to open up the fourth.
That's a great pitch by O'Neill to pick up the strikeout, but more of what you were talking about for Mike Roberts and trying to right the ship after dropping their fourth straight last night, and he really identified not the pitching but the defense that it's been their Achilles heel throughout this losing streak.
7 errors in the last 3 games for the Kettleers. As Donovan LaSalle swings at the first pitch, grounds it foul. Pair of errors last night. Didn't come back to cost the Kettleers too much, just 1 unearned run out of the 10 runs scored for the Gatemen. As the 0-1 to the righty, LaSalle waved on and missed. O'Neill going back to the fastball, touching 91 miles an hour. Tyler Cerny committing both of those errors last night. Not in the lineup to begin today. We've seen Nolan Araki commit a couple of errors at third, and defense has been a strong suit for the Kettleers for most of the season as the fastball gets away from O'Neill here as LaSalle has to duck out of the way.
It's never easy for a pitcher to enter into a ball game that has been suspended and recontinued, kind of acting as a starter, but with those runners on first and second, they both got into scoring position, so he had no time to settle in at all. So we've really seen a different Tyler O'Neill into this fourth inning. But it was a strong way to finish that third. A couple of double play balls. I know one was unable to be turned, but was able to get the final one there to end the inning. And now ahead in the count here on LaSalle.
The 1-2 from O'Neill on the outside corner, laid off for ball 2. Matt Klein in the Kettleer dugout thought it might have been strike 3. The count evened up at 2-2, and like the point that you mentioned, Joe, O'Neill coming into the game in a tough spot. Isaiah Barquette standing on second. Robbie Bolin on first, and all it took was a bloop single by Zion Rose to give Falmouth a 3-2 advantage. The 2-2 well outside against the righty. So he works the count full after falling behind in the count 0-2. O'Neill, 23 pitches so far in an inning and a third, 15 strikes. Looking for strike 16 here, the 3-2 on the inside corner, laid off for ball 4. So Donovan LaSalle works a 1-out walk as he trots down to first.
Yeah, well, O'Neill just lost him there as LaSalle was behind in the count 1-2, fouled off a few pitches, and then was just able to work his way onto first base by way of the walk, and now they have a 1-out base runner. But for Tyler O'Neill, that's got to be frustrating. I mean, you're ahead of him 1-2, nearly back-to-back strikeouts, but now once again you'll have to be dealing with that runner on first base.
And a pickoff move, LaSalle back in standing. Just 2 stolen bases for LaSalle this season. But here's Patrick Roche, playing in his 3rd game this summer as a Commodore. 2 for 8 with a pair of strikeouts. Does have 3 RBIs. O'Neill falls behind him with a breaking ball that's laid off outside. Roche coming in to the game for Dylan Carey. He scored the first run for the Commodores in that game. It was an RBI sac fly on a right field. Devin Taylor made a sprawling catch, robbing Carey of what could have been extra bases. As the 2-0 to Roche on the outside corner, laid off for ball 3. So Tyler O'Neill, after having pinpoint control to begin the inning, is once again falling behind Patrick Roche and in danger of giving up 2 consecutive walks. LaSalle leads off first. O'Neill comes home with a 3-0. Looked at for strike 1. That's a big strike for O'Neill there, just to build some confidence back.
Yeah, it is a good one there on the outer half. And, you know, when you're throwing to someone like Matt Klein, so steady back there, got to make things a bit easier.
The 3-2, or 3-1, taken outside for ball 4. So Patrick Roche works a 5-pitch walk. As after getting the strikeout of Jack Bell, back-to-back walks issued by Tyler O'Neill.
Now, I know they turned on the bunt play last inning with no outs in the inning and the double steal as well, but now with 1 out, I still wonder if we'll see another play like that. as Mike Roberts calls off the infield. Just wants this to be a meeting between him, Klein, and O'Neill. But more on what we were just talking about, I mean, it's really not an easy situation to come into as a pitcher with those runners on first and second. It's almost like you're just dropped into this situation where you're trying to protect a one-run lead. You got 2 runners on base, but still he's got to find a way to battle through it. And clearly just seeing him not being able to settle into this next inning. I mean, had a great start with that strikeout, showed some promise, but now back-to-back walks and facing a guy in Carson Bowen who has been good against the Kettleers so far this summer, 4 for 9, but 0 for 1 in the original game back on July 25th, and it'll be his first time facing O'Neill. So we'll see how the TCU catcher fares against him with runners on first and second, but I think just with the way that this infield is played, Falmouth has to know that, and likely I think you'll see a bunt laid down.
So the mound visit is over as Mike Roberts walking back to the Kettleer dugout down the third baseline. Like you mentioned, Joe, Carson Bowen 0 for 1, digging in for his second at-bat. Flew out into an 8-3-6 double play, or 8-3-1-6 double play. It was a crazy play that Max Ballou caught the ball, fired a seed back to first base, trying to double up Gavin Turley, who was confused on how many outs there were. The ball got away from Tanner Thatch at first base. Matt Klein was backing him up, then made a strong throw out to Timo Becerra at shortstop. As this one rocketed in the left center field alleyway, that'll dunk down as it's destined for extra bases. Getting the wave around third is Donovan LaSalle. Following him is Roche. It's a 2 RBI double for Carson Bowen as the Commodores are pouring it on. They now lead 5-2.
No bunt necessary for Carson Bowen, who punishes that ball to the left center field alleyway and just continues to tear apart Cotuit pitching. That is 5th hit against the Kettleers, now his 3rd and 4th RBIs against Cotuit, and it's been all Falmouth so far today. They're up 5-2.
4 unanswered runs for the Commodores here on August 3rd, the game that was suspended back on July 25th. First pitch from O'Neill looked at for strike 1 against Isaiah Barquette, who worked a walk leading off the third inning. Came around to score on the 2 RBI single by Zion Rose earlier today. The 0-1 to Barquette on the outside corner for strike 2. Barquette thought about swinging but laid off, but it's called a strike regardless. Barquette, another guy who's had a lot of success against the Kettleers this season. 3 for 6, also worked that walk. O'Neill looking for a big second out, takes a look back at Bowen. Now comes home with the 0-2 pitch. A slow chopper hit back up the middle. Running in is Hanson, who gloves it. His throw in time to nab Barquette for the second out. Moving up to third is Bowen, but a crucial second out worked by Tyler O'Neill.
Nice grab by Luke Hansen. Had to make that throw on the run, and our first looks at Luke Hansen at shortstop this year. So we've seen him play third base, seen him play first. First time that he is positioned at shortstop, and rightfully so, as there's been some inconsistency in the shortstop position the past couple days with Tyler Cerny and Timo Becerra. So Mike Roberts just trying to find something different that might work in the middle infield.
Back to the top of the Falmouth order, it's Robbie Bolin, who has the count 1-0 on him. Has struggled so far through 6 games as he skies this one down the left field line. Giving it a run is Brandon Compton. That ball dunked down, foul down that left field line. Bolin just 2 hits in his first 19 at-bats. Came off of an extremely impressive campaign at Barton County Community College, where he played in 62 games, hit .464. With 4 home runs, 49 RBIs as he grounds this one to Tanner Thatch at first. His flip just in time to Tyler O'Neill, who was making his way over to the first base bag to get Robbie Bolin for the third and final out of the inning, but not before Falmouth puts up another 2 runs after the 2 RBI double by the catcher Carson Bowen. As we're through 3.5, from Lowell Park, with the Commodores leading the Kettleers 5-2.
Construction is your go-to provider for all excavation, drainage, and waterworks services. On top of that, they offer landscape filling materials such as sand, native stone, gravel, shells, and more. Serving Cape Cod and the islands for 30 years, Bortolotti Construction is committed to serving its community. Visit at 45 Industry Road in Marston's Mills or call 508-771-9399.
Coastal Rentals is the place to go for professional landscape and construction equipment. Whether you need tools and equipment for commercial use or for your own projects, Coastal Rentals has what you need. Purchasing gear is also available. Check out Coastal Rentals today.
Cotuit Library. Since its founding in 1874, the Cotuit Library has served its community with an expansive collection that continues to grow. Their staff is dedicated to serving all ages, offering youth events weekly. The library has dozens of events scheduled throughout the summer, so be sure to head to the website at cotuitlibrary.org to see what's coming up next. The library is located right off Main Street. The Cotuit Library, a proud sponsor of the Kettleers.
Be a part of historic Lowell Park and support the Cotuit Kettleers by purchasing a paver engraved with your personal message to be placed in the new Walk of Champions. For more information, visit the Cotuit Kettleers website.
Jaden Newt tossing his final warm-up pitch as Carson Bowen with a seed down to second base. As Newt returns to the mound for his second inning of work, allowed a leadoff single against Brandon Compton, but went 1-2-3 against Devin Taylor, Easton Winfield, and Matt Klein. As digging in is Nathan Hall, who's coming into the game for Max Ballou, who was 0 for 1. Hall, coming off arguably his best game as a Kettleer just a night ago, was 3 for 4. Scored twice, also had an RBI, blasted his first triple this summer, just the second triple that the Kettleers have recorded all season, as Newt falls behind Hall 1-0. Hall has his batting average skyrocketing all the way up to .358 through 23 games, as the 1-0 to the righty, fouled down the first base line and out of play. That broke a long stretch for Nathan Hall, where he was held without an extra base hit. That was his first extra base hit since June 28th, where he hit a double against Bourne. 1-1 pitch backing out of the way is Hall. Newt falls behind him 2-1.
What a day it was last night for Nathan Hall. I know maybe in the box score it doesn't appear as that, but also a multi-hit game, and geez, he was just slamming the ball around its playing field.
The 2-1 hit in the center field coming on in is Robbie Bolin, who loses his hat, makes the running grab in time for the first out. So nice play by Bolin, tracking a lot of outfield grass, holding in that ball for the first out.
Now I know statistically it might not make too much sense to say it, but Nathan Hall has likely been making the best contact with pitches that we've seen in the last couple days by anybody on this roster, and I know that one maybe wasn't as much of a barrel than what we saw last night, but still gives it a ride into the right center field way.
Hitting it the opposite way is Jaron Advincula right to the third baseman, Jason Jones. His quick throw in time to nab Advincula, so he goes down on one pitch. Now falls back to 0 for 2 today.
Well, it's been a great response for Jaden Newt, who gave up the single to Brandon Compton to start off his day, but since then, 5 up, 5 down.
So here is Timo Becerra, still looking for his first hit against the Commodores. 0 for 6. Flew out to Zion Rose in left field. That was a play that Rose made a diving grab on Timo Becerra. It was just a weak fly ball hitting a short left field, and Zion Rose looked like he was shot out of a cannon. Had great bursts and went into a dive and made the grab. The 1-0 to Becerra, high and in tight. He has to back out of the way. So the count is 2-0 against the Kettleer third baseman, who started this game at shortstop, then switched with Luke Hansen. But Newt falls behind him, 3-0 in the count. Becerra reached a couple of times last night, stopped a 1 for 13 stretch. as the 3-0 pitch looked at right down the middle. Count is 3-1. Becerra went 2 for 4. Also worked a walk as he fouls away the 3-1 pitch. So from 3-0 to 3-2, we go with 2 outs in the inning. Becerra hit 9th just a night ago, hitting 8th today. The 3-2 from the righty Newt. On the outside corner, got him looking. Jaden Newt is dealing. He works a 1-2-3 bottom of the 4th, fanning Nathan Hall, Jaron Advincula, and Timo Becerra, as it's been all Falmouth so far today here on August 3rd, as they still lead 5-2 against the Kettleers. And before we take a break, we'll send it down to field level with Adele Huffman.
Thanks, Joe and Alex. I'm here with Dennis Theoritis, one of our photographers at the Cotuit Kettleers. Dennis, what Kettleers?
I'm a photographer.
Dennis, what does your day-to-day look like out here?
Usually I start off by the first baseline taking photos, and then I'll usually hop around, do a lap or two taking dog photos or anything fan-related.
Just graduated high school. What are you looking to do in the fall?
I'm going to Mass Art for photography and architecture in the fall.
So what's been your favorite part this summer about interning here?
Just the end result of each game through the pictures, seeing the players' reactions to them as well.
Well, thanks, Dennis. I know we're all glad you're here, and we'll send it back up to the booth with Joe and Alex. Cool beans.
Thanks so much, Adele, and big shout out to Dennis, who, just like he said, just finishing up high school and such a talented photographer, and all the Kettleers photographers, Dennis included, and they just do such an excellent job and making pictures come to life, and just really cool to see someone so young excel on such a big stage.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, being how young he is, it's amazing to see his talent in photography, and of course Dennis being from Dennis, that's pretty cool, and being a local guy on the Cape too, so it's super great to have people who work here also know the community and know that what, you know, Cape League baseball is all about, and Dennis surely is that. And everything you see on the Cape, or on the Kettleers Instagram, I should say, and Twitter and all of that, and the Instagram stories and everything that you see on social media, that's all done by Dennis the Menace, Chris Jones, Isabel Gabriel as well. They're all contributing to that and doing such a fantastic job. And of course, Cassie Baker is at the top of all of that, overseeing all the media for us.
Such a talented photography crew, and definitely makes all of our social media look good. So if you haven't had a chance to check out the Kettleers on social media, highly suggest you do so. Here is Zion Rose leading things off in the top of the 5th. 1 for 2 today, hit a 2 RBI single back in the 3rd inning. The appeal down at first, he did go around. So 2 quick strikes from Tyler O'Neill, who's looking to bounce back after giving up 2 runs in the last 2 innings. The 0-2 pitch got him swinging. Zion Rose down on strikes. The second strikeout of the day for Tyler O'Neill, and Rose is the first out here in the 5th.
O'Neill climbing the ladder there to pick up the strikeout, and clearly just had Jason Jones behind the 8 ball throughout the entire at-bat there. Excuse me, that was Zion Rose, but he's able to get him swinging, and a good start to the 5th inning once more for Tyler O'Neill, just as he did the last inning in the 4th.
The first pitch to Jason Jones, a pop-up that's hit in his center field. Camping underneath it is Nathan Hall, who makes the grab for the second out. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Tyler O'Neill after the fly out to center field by Jones.
He was a high strikeout guy at Bucknell this past season, was O'Neill. 71 strikeouts in 70 innings, but it's nice to see him also rely on some of that weak contact. He did give up 80 hits, and batters hit at a 286 clip against him, so nice job for him just to trust his defense, even though he is a guy who gives up a lot of base hits.
The first pitch to Trent Caraway looked at for strike 1. Caraway 0 for 2 with a pair of ground balls. Bounced out to Tanner Thatch in the first inning, then hit into a 6-4-3 inning-ending double play back in the 3rd. Count evened up at 1-1. O'Neill is through 2 2/3, allowed 4 runs, just 2 earned runs. As the 1-1 pitch waved through and missed by Caraway, so the count goes to 1-2. struck out 2, 44 pitches, 28 strikes for the righty out of Bucknell. Pearson gets the sign from Klein, now kicks and deals the 1-2. Caraway hitting this in the short right field. Coming on is Devin Taylor going into a dive and making the play. Oh, what a play by Devin Taylor in right field. That ball was sinking in off the bat of Trent Caraway. Devin Taylor had a beat on it all the way, goes into a dive, and makes a spectacular grab for the third out here in the fifth as Tyler O'Neill works a 1-2-3 top of the fifth. But the Commodores still lead the Kettleers 5-2 here on the Kettleers Digital Network, and we'll step aside for a quick commercial break. But when we do, my broadcast partner Joe Pratt will take over on the play-by-play.
Cape Cod Coffee is a proud sponsor of the Cotuit Kettleers. They offer breakfast and lunch, as well as indoor and outdoor dining. Check out Cape Cod Coffee at one of their 3 locations, on Route 130, at Mashpee Commons, and at Wareham Commons, or on their website at capecodcoffee.com.
When the unexpected happens, make sure you and your assets are insured appropriately. The agents at Leonard Insurance Agency can tailor coverage to meet your needs. Call 508-428-6921 to talk to their licensed agents today.
For nearly 2 decades, Coastal Irrigation has proudly provided top-notch irrigation and landscape lighting services across Cape Cod. Starting with just a handful of customers in Cotuit, they now serve nearly all of the Cape. Upgrade your lawn care with their modern irrigation systems. No more dragging around hoses or worrying about watering while you're away. Their systems ensure your grass stays healthy and green effortlessly. Transform your home with Coastal Irrigation's landscape lighting services. Enhance your outdoor gatherings, improve safety, and boost curb appeal with their affordable, low-voltage lighting solutions. Illuminate your walkways and highlight architectural details to make your home shine. Contact Coastal Irrigation at 508-428-1529 or info@coastalirrigation.net.
Well, there's the man who just put an end to the top of the 4th inning as Devin Taylor snatching a ball from Trent Caraway, diving into the alleyway on the backhand, and he's not a guy who's been in right field each and every day for the Kettleers, has been mainly a DH, but after that play, likely we'll see a lot more of Devin Taylor in right. Just a great grab that was by him, who played a lot of outfield this past season at Indiana, and somebody else who is in a similar spot, who is playing in a position that he maybe doesn't normally play for the Kettleers, starting at shortstop today, was Luke Hansen. Of course, started the July 25th game at third, and now he rockets that one past his counterpart Jack Bell and into left field. So it's another leadoff single for the Kettleers, their first base runner since the top of the third, or bottom of the third inning, excuse me, and they'll send things back up to the top half for Tanner Thatch.
Hansen now with hits in back-to-back starts that he's made. Had a hit back on July 31st against Orleans, went 1 for 3 in that game, and Hansen not wasting any time, shooting it right in the left field for a leadoff single.
So Hansen picks up a base hit, his first since Tuesday night at Orleans, where he went 1 for 3. Now Tanner Thatch will watch a strike go by from Jaden Newt. Newt just finished his first season at Louisiana State, but it was really his second year, as he's now ahead of Thatch 0-2. But he redshirted as a true freshman, underwent Tommy John surgery in February of 2023, and wasn't able to make his collegiate debut until this season, this spring on April 6th. Thatch spoils that one foul to stay alive at 0-2. Pitched one inning in that outing, and out of the bullpen for LSU allowed 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 walks. That was his only outing this spring, actually, for Jaden Newt. So having to make a recovery, and that's exactly what this summer is serving for him, kind of the recovery process. And that's also something that we've seen other guys go through, who this summer is not only to get some looks from scouts and better your chances at playing professional baseball, but also for some guys to work through injuries and get back to 100%. Snap throw back to first is going to have to wait, but Tanner Thatch is rung up on strikes, as it's another strikeout on the day for Jaden Newt. He picks up his second.
I like the point that you mentioned about Jaden Newt working through injuries and using summer baseball to do that. And although he struggled so far on the year, had an 8.59 ERA coming into today, he's making things look easy against the middle of this Kettleer lineup.
It's a Kettler lineup that was so dominant last night, mainly Brandon Compton, who had a multi-hit game. And when you look back from the July 25th game into the August 3rd game today, another multi-hit game for Brandon Compton. He's 2 for 2. 2 singles, and Hansen gets into his secondary as the first pitch is called a strike. But Newt was a guy who had a lot of hype coming out of high school, was the #1 ranked right-handed pitcher in California in the class of 2022. And now ahead in the count 0-2 goes Newt. But nationally was ranked as the #8 right-handed pitcher in the country by Perfect Game. Someone who's still trying to make a splash in college baseball as the 0-2 pitch is rocketed over the second baseman Barquette and into right field. Hansen charges around second. He will motor into third and stop there. Compton trying to stretch it to 2. Throw comes in. It's not in time. Have a day, Brandon Compton. A double as he improves to 3 for 3. And the Kettleers with 1 gone will have 2 runners in scoring position.
Brandon Compton showing off the wheels, a hustle double there, and really saw him turn up the speed, making the turnaround first base, and that ball was rocketed into right field. LaSalle relayed that ball in quickly, but Brandon Compton was eyeing extra bases, ran through it, and that's a massive hit for the Kettleers as Brandon Compton, like you said, Joe, have a day. He just continues to deliver for Cotuit.
Now a big spot for Devin Taylor as he'll take time. But it's a spot for Taylor, who did a nice job of it last night, but now he skies this one on the infield, and with 2 runners in scoring position, he continues to struggle as that one is caught by the second baseman Barquette for the second out. But after going 2 for 3 with runners in scoring position last night, it's the same result as we saw back in the first inning at Spillane Field, where Devin Taylor popped out on the infield.
And Taylor's going to be frustrated with himself after that at bat. Got a pitch at the top of the strike zone and right in his wheelhouse, right on the top of the strike zone, inner portion, right to the lefty. And that's usually a pitch that Devin Taylor does not miss. Just got well underneath it and popped it straight up to the second baseman.
Now here's Easton Winfield. Another guy who's been struggling at the dish. He'll take low and inside. Nice job by Bowen to keep it in front as he had to backhand it from the dirt. But an 84-mile-an-hour pitch from Jaden Newt that misses low, and currently nobody warming up in the Falmouth bullpen right now, as he has cruised through the first 2 innings, ran into a little bit of a logjam here in the 5th, but still an out away from escaping it, as that one is tipped into the glove of Bowen, and it's a 1-1 count to Easton Winfield, who started off this game with an RBI double in the first inning, and that was part of a stretch where Winfield was playing some really strong baseball. Was riding in 7-game hitting streak and is looking for his first base knock since that streak ended. 1-1. 2-1 the count now to Winfield. But going into this game, Easton Winfield 0 for his last 18 at the plate. And flew out. He's 0 for 1 already today, and now the count 2-2 to him as he flicks that foul.
And this is a big at-bat for Winfield, and we've talked about the Kettleers' struggles with runners in scoring position, and he's another guy who struggled, just 2 for 14 with a pair of RBIs, hitting just 143.
And that was after a 375 start at the plate for Winfield. 2-2. Misses upstairs, and this is really what you like to see, though. Him able to work this count full, tracking all these pitches all the way in. But a big spot with 2 outs, and Cotuit in desperate need for some offense. No runs since the 4th inning of last night's game. 3-2. Winfield shoots that one straight back up the middle into center field. Hansen will come in and score from third. Compton from second. He does so easily, and it's a 2 RBI single for Easton Winfield, and the Kettleers inch closer to Falmouth. It's now 5-4.
What a massive hit for Easton Winfield, not only bringing in 2 runs and making it a 5-4 game, just for his confidence, like you mentioned, Joe, 0 for his last 19, and that has to feel good. Got a pitch right over the heart of the plate from Jaden Newt, shot that right back up the middle, and hitting with runners in scoring position, working the count full, and hitting with 2 strikes. Winfield does all of it there and makes it just a 1-run game.
Here's Klein. He takes 1-0. Yeah, you're right. That's got to feel great for Easton Winfield. Now, 1 for his last 20, was 0 for 19 going into that at-bat. As Klein pops this up, on the infield goes Barquette, shading the sun with his glove, and he will pull down the third and final out of this bottom of the 5th frame. So Falmouth and Jaden Newt are able to escape some trouble, but not before a 2-out, 2 RBI single off the bat of Easton Winfield, who brings the Kettleers back to 5-4. Send it to the top of the 6th. You're listening to Cotuit Baseball here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
When you need to be seen for a minor illness or injury, Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care is here for you with high-quality, full-service walk-in care. ER expertise meets urgent care convenience at our 6 urgent care centers, which are staffed by board-certified ER providers and located Cape-wide from Falmouth to Orleans. Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care is open daily and offers a cost-saving option for everything from sprains to stitches, with timely treatment in under an hour for most patients. View online wait times at capecodhealth.org/urgent care. Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care. Minor emergencies, major attention.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
It's another great day for baseball. Clear skies overhead at Lowell Park. Not too many fans making their way to the ballpark for the second half of this halted game, but our first noon game of the summer, the one of 2 noon games going on around the league actually right now, as Bourne and Orleans are currently playing at Eldridge Park. And really, we could get used to this, huh, Alex?
84 and sunny, and another hot day here in Cotuit, and just perfect day for baseball. Definitely something that we could get used to.
It's the top of the 4th inning between Bourne and Orleans right now. Still 0-0, as that one's fisted foul by Jack Bell. He's 1 for 2 in this game, but you go back to earlier on in this contest, Gavin Keelan actually with a leadoff double in the 2nd inning, and Jack Bell replacing him in the 4th. And that was a stretch for Keelan where he was 0 for his last 7 against the Kettleers and then notched that double, but then with the pausing of this game and having to reconvene here on August 3rd, not everybody is still on these respective rosters, being Jackson Willits, Gavin Keelan, Gavin Turley, Dylan Carey, so all being replaced, as that one is up and inside, and it's a 2-1 count on Jack Bell. But Bell, his first start against Cotuit this summer, fouls that one off of Matt Klein, it looked like, and he's back down in the count to 2-2. But Tyler O'Neill works into his 3rd full inning of work, but still had to get 3 outs in that 3rd inning. Just wasn't started by him, was originally started by Taylor C., and those couple of runs given up in that 2nd inning not going earned to Tyler O'Neill, as this one's hit hard into straightaway center. Hall backtracks and pulls down the 1st out.
Like the response from Tyler O'Neill, gave up a pair of runs back in the 4th inning, and after giving up the 2 RBI double to Carson Bowen, had a pair of groundouts to end the 4th inning, went 1-2-3 in the 5th, and then gets the 1st out against Jack Bell here and retiring the last 6 batters he's faced.
That seems like O'Neill has really hit a groove, and to confirm what was just mentioned, 3 earned runs for Taylor C., 2 earned runs for Tyler O'Neill so far. So the end of the line for CU went 2 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, a walk, and a strikeout, elevating his ERA back to above 5.1. O'Neill's 0-1. Fanned at and missed. Donovan LaSalle goes back to 0-2 after walking his first time up in the fourth. But O'Neill, someone who was a true staff ace for Bucknell this season, as he gets a called strike 3 on Donovan LaSalle. His third strikeout of the outing, and quickly there are 2 gone in the 6th.
Excellent pitching from O'Neill here, finding a groove, dotting the outside corner against the righty Donovan LaSalle, and having that strikeout pitch working on. So far, only had 4 strikeouts in the first 6 1/3 innings pitched this season. Now up to 3 already today.
Here's Patrick Roach. He dips underneath a breaking ball. Roach was the hero in last night's game for the Commodores. Got some praise from one of his teammates, saying how it was Donovan LaSalle. Mentioned how he just got here and he's already contributing to the team, as they were down late in that game to Brewster last night, coming back in the 9th inning to win it 9-8, and it was a walk-off single off the bat of Patrick Roach. His second hit of the summer, and is now still 2 for 8 as he walked for the first time his last time up, and now the 2-0. He checks his swing and puts it into the Falmouth dugout.
It went off the helmet of the Falmouth bat boy. Looks to be all good.
Jeff Trundy making sure he's all right. Trundy, the longtime manager for the Commodores, as that one's rolled past Luke Hansen, who gave it a dive, but it boots off of his glove, and that's an infield single for Patrick Roach. So his third hit as a Commodore, and there's 1 on with 2 gone.
It's a big hit for Roche. Is now digging in is the catcher Carson Bowen, who we talked about earlier, the success that he's had against the Kettleers. Now 5 for 10, 4 RBIs. 2 of those 5 hits have been extra bases. Hit a double earlier, hit a home run a couple of games ago against the Kettleers, and not the man that you want to see with 2 outs in the inning.
No, definitely not. Carson Bowen already with that double last inning, as you mentioned, and that coming with 1 out in the frame, 2 runners on. Now with the runner on first, Roach. He has a short lead there, and O'Neill just trying to escape his 4th inning of work as that one misses upstairs. But O'Neill, even though this will go down as a relief appearance, started 12 out of 13 games at Bucknell this past season. 70 innings pitched, had a 4.9 ERA. Now a 1-1 count on Bowen. But someone who finished the season incredibly strong. His best performance of the year was his last, spinning a 9-inning complete game against Army. As that one's popped up just past the infield, Hansen giving chase, as is Advincula, but Hall will let it drop in front of him. Runner moving up to second, nobody's home, and they'll put 2 runners in scoring position as that one finds no man's land. And the Commodores take advantage of another fielding miscue by the Kettleers. And with 2 gone, they'll have a runner on second and third.
That play won't go down as an error, but just a mental error by the Kettleers. Luke Hansen, Jaron Advincula, and Nathan Hall all running in on that ball. No one calls it, and they let it fall, and no one's covering second base. Is moving up to second is Carson Bowen, and just like that, with 1 swing of the bat, the Commodores have 2 runners in scoring position.
So it goes down as a double for Carson Bowen. So after hitting into a double play in the 2nd inning on July 25th, has responded today to go 2 for 2 with 2 doubles. Now it's Isaiah Barquette. He's ahead 1-0. Pitch. (2-0) to Barquette, who's another guy who has been on a tear recently for the Commodores. Brought a 7-game hitting streak last night into their game at Brewster, and then went 1 for 3 with a couple of walks. So an 8-game hitting streak that he brings into today's game. Already 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. Also a stolen base for Barquette, who started this game at second after walking to lead off the 3rd. And now a chance to walk once more as the 3-0 is upcoming. And the get me over fastball makes it 3-1. But Barquette is 12 of his last 33 at the dish now. Good for a batting average well north of 350. 3-1 pitch is rolled on the ground towards Hansen. Deep throw from short, and it is in time at first. They got him. A massive play for Luke Hansen to keep 2 runners in scoring position as the Kettleers still trail by 1. through 6th from Lowell Park.
Since 1980, the O'Rourke family has been catering Cape Cod clam bakes, making your events delicious and memorable. Founded by Jake O'Rourke, Jake's Clam Bakes has become a beloved tradition, now carried on by his son, Dan. Choose from our menu options, and on the day of your clam bake, their crew will come to your site and steam a fresh, mouth-watering clam bake just for you. It's that easy. Call us at 833-252-6285 or visit our new takeout location at Building 6 on 3821 Route 28 in Marston's Mills. Email us at dan@jakesclambakes.com with your event details, number of guests, date, time, location, and any special requests like a raw bar, homemade desserts, or kids menu. Not catering? Try their takeout menu featuring lobster rolls, smash burgers, salads, sandwiches, and a smoothie bar. Jake's Clam Bakes, making Cape Cod gatherings unforgettable.
With 30-plus years of personal injury litigation and insurance negotiation experience, Snow Law Firm is your go-to for wrongful injuries and rightful compensation. Snow Law Firm will secure the maximum amount of compensation available through settlement or trial. Schedule a free case evaluation by calling 508-477-7100.
Jaden Newt works into his 4th inning of work as we head into the bottom of the 6th inning from Lowell Park. We played 5.5 with Falmouth leading 5-4. Newt will be facing Nathan Hall, Jaron Advincula, Timo Becerra, 6, 7, and 8 in the lineup today for the Kets, just as it was back on July 25th, but Nathan Hall batting for Max Ballou. But another great day for baseball, Alex.
Perfect sunny day, 84 degrees and sunny, and just like you said a couple of innings ago, can definitely get used to this.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it a lot, and obviously it's been brought up to us by other broadcasters around the league saying, why don't these games start at 4:30? Might as well have these start at noon.
Well, I think the one drawback you're seeing is not a lot of fans
right.
coming out and supporting the game, but weather-wise it's perfect, of course, this game being suspended back on July 25th.
That one a slow-moving pitch at 77 in there to Nathan Hall. Yeah, it's mostly fans coming from the beach to the ballpark, spend the day at the beach, and then make their way to Lowell Park for a 5 p.m. start. And that's really why you don't see packed crowds for the first couple innings, you know. Fans still making their way from the beach, but I think, you know, and also we've talked about this with other guys around the league, it really wouldn't hurt to have a few Sunday home games be at noon. 1-1. Hall flips this one high in foul territory. Roach tracking it all the way and pulls down the first out.
I think it would be a pretty good idea to have a couple of Sunday home games start at noon or maybe 1 p.m. Give the beach crowd another hour to come to Lowell Park and support the Kettleers. Just a perfect day for baseball. And, of course, we've seen it so many times this year, and we've talked about it a bunch where Kettleers, it's been hard to play 9 innings here at Lowell Park with the skies getting dark, the field, of course, not having lights, and it would make sense to play the games earlier in the day, but of course you want to have the village coming out and supporting the Kets.
That's true, but it is something that a lot of these guys are used to at school. They go from playing Friday night games and then into Saturday, usually 2 or 3 p.m., and then Sunday is a bit earlier than that. But Advincula puts this one into straightaway center field. Tough play for the second baseman, Barquette. And did he catch it? Yes, he did. What a play by Isaiah Barquette to rob Jaron Advincula of a single. And there are 2 gone in the bottom of the 6th.
That ball was just flared off the bat of Jaron Advincula. Isaiah Barquette going out in a short center field, making that grab on the backhand. Full extension into the dive. What a play.
Barquette, who started this game at first base, making the move to second. And Advincula trying to put an end to this 0-for-3 day now. It's going to have to wait as Timo Becerra takes a turning breaking ball at strike 1. Becerra, a strikeout in the 4th inning looking. 0 for 2 overall on the day, as Jaden Newt has been strong through his first 3.5 innings, as that one is fanned at and missed, and Becerra back to 0-2 once more. Got to give a lot of credit to this Falmouth infield. They made a lot of great plays when you go back to the July 25th game and into today. As Becerra, did he go? They'll check it first. He did not, says the first base umpire. Matthew Newman giving Timo Becerra an extra breath of life here. As the home plate umpire is Jacob Ashworth, Jake Brickta at third base. Jacob Ashworth was the original first base ump for this game, and now a 2-2 count to Becerra. But it's not the first time that Cotuit and Falmouth has had a suspended game. Adele Huffman will have a couple words about that as Timo Becerra gets tied up on the 3rd pitch, and fans threw that up and inside breaking ball as Jaden Newt works through the bottom of the 6th inning. 3 up, 3 down they go, and the Kettleers are still trailing 5-4. As just mentioned, we're going to check in with Adele Huffman, who has more.
Thanks, Joe and Alex. Yes, a suspended game beginning today, but the last time we had a suspended game was actually July 4th in Falmouth. Last year, the Kettleers were up 2-0 with a runner on second in the top of the 3rd. Not too different than today's game, but then the Commodores went on to score 12 unanswered runs, winning 12-2. But we can already see some promise out there today. A slow-scoring game, but both competing very well. So, Joe, Alex, it'll be interesting to see how this plays off. And you can tune in later today at 6. We'll be at Falmouth.
Thanks, Adele. Great information as always, talking about the last time that these two teams had a halted game happen. It was back on the 4th of July last year. We had all the festivities here at Lowell Park. It was great to see everybody who was able to enjoy everything at Lowell Park, the home run competition just as we saw this year, but also maybe a bit more time to get all that done, because we made our way to Gov Fuller Field later on in the day, worked into the 2nd inning there, or 3rd inning I think it was, and then the rain blew in, so we had to go back a couple of days later, and Falmouth scoring 12 unanswered to go on to win that game, so Cotuit hoping for not the same today.
It kind of started out similar with the Kettleers leading 2-1. Falmouth Italia 2 RBI single with Zion Rose in that 3rd inning. Followed that up with a 2 RBI double by Carson Bowen, and it looked like it was heading that way. But Easton Winfield made it just a 1-run ball game back in the 5th inning. And good response by the Kettleers, just needing a couple more zeros and hopefully some more offensive production in the final 3 innings.
So Tyler O'Neill starts off the 7th frame, and I think this was really the goal, Alex, to get O'Neill into the 7th inning.
That it was, and save a lot of your bullpen arms. 4 different pitchers used in the loss last night, and this is a Kettleer bullpen that has been really stretched thin over the last 4 games.
And we still don't know who's going to get the nod for tonight's game starting at 6 p.m. But it does look like Cullen McKay has gotten up and started to stretch out in the left field bullpen, as that 0-2 offering is chopped high towards Luke Hansen. Charging in on the grass, he throws in time at first to get Robbie Bolin. Another nice play by Luke Hansen, who has settled into the shortstop position nicely.
Hansen playing shortstop at UVA this past season and making a couple of plays look easy. Saw him get a diving snag earlier in the game. Saw him make a long throw as well. And Hansen making a couple of plays look easy might be the answer for the Kettleers' infield woes at the shortstop position.
High breaking ball called for strike 1 on Rose.
Seen Timo Becerra get a couple of starts at shortstop. Tyler Cerny's been usually the everyday shortstop, and now Luke Hansen getting the start there and making a lot of plays.
Yeah, and it's also difficult with the lack of consistency at the plate as well. I mean, we've seen Tyler Cerny and Timo Becerra go on some strong runs, but both kind of streaky guys at the plate. And Timo Becerra showed a lot of promise last night, but there also leaves a gaping hole on the left side of the infield there at third as you continue to want to give Nolan Naraki some rest. But it's a position that we've talked about a lot, and that they've had a lot of depth there on the left side of the infield. But of course that makes things so much easier when you have somebody in Jaron Advincula who still hasn't made an error in over 130 chances, and also Tanner Thatch, really the anchor of this infield at first base. And that's really something that Mike Roberts talked about last night, saying that defense has been their Achilles heel. 2-2 pitch to Rose, rocketed on the ground towards Advincula. Easy play for him as he makes it look easy with that flip to first for an easy second out of the 7th inning.
7 errors in the last 3 games coming into today for the Kettleers. No errors so far, but saw a mental miscue just an inning ago on the double by Carson Bowen where Advincula, Hansen, and Nathan Hall let that ball fall. And it's a good point mentioned by Mike Roberts is in the 2 previous games before last night, the Kettleer pitching staff had given up 7 runs. However, 3 were earned.
Yeah, that's just not something you want to see at this point in the season especially. It's something that Cotuit has done such a great job of against other teams, mainly being Falmouth, as that one. Look out for Tyler O'Neill, straight back up the middle. He's frustrated with himself as he allows a 2-out single to Jason Jones.
That ball was scorched off the bat of Jones right back up the middle as Tyler O'Neill just had to duck out of the way to not get hit by that baseball as a rocket up the middle keeps the inning alive.
Jones went 1 for 4 last night, and that was to snap a 1 for 14 streak at the plate. Entered into today was so far 0 for 2, but now 1 for 3 and overall 2 for 4 as he knocked a double back on July 25th in the first inning of this ball game. But now Trent Caraway digs in. He's 0 for 3 overall, 0 for 2 today. And overall now 0 for 10 against the Kettleers. But Caraway making his way into the All-Star game at Falmouth last weekend as a utility player, also competed in the Home Run Derby. Now the 0-1. He gets a piece of it. It ties him up, but that one doesn't get a piece of it, says the home plate umpire, as Jones is able to advance to second.
And it appeared that Caraway foul-tipped that ball. However, it just popped in and out of the glove of Matt Klein, ricocheted in the on-deck circle of the Kettleers, and moving up in the scoring position was Jason Jones. And it's a tough play for Klein. That fastball was on the inner portion of the plate, but usually a ball that Matt Klein has gloved as it goes down as a pass ball.
So still a live ball, you're saying, since it hit the glove of Matt Klein?
Yes.
So it's an 0-2 count to Caraway. Up against it and is already searching for his first hit today as he bends out of the way of that one. Tyler O'Neill pushes the count back to 1-2. But O'Neill, a guy who made his season-long appearance 3 2/3 innings back on July 30th against Harwich. And now the 1-2 is golf to left center field. Going back on at Compton, that's going to get back to the fence. Jones will come in and score easily from second as Caraway motors into second, standing up with a 2-out RBI double.
That's a tough run to give up if you're Tyler O'Neill. You got ahead of Trent Caraway 0-2, lost him on the 1-2 pitch, and then just left a curveball right over the heart of the plate that Caraway makes no mistake, deposits it right in the left center field alleyway, and coming in to score easily was Jason Jones, and he was just one pitch away of getting out of this inning and stranding a runner in scoring position, but makes a mistake, and Falmouth capitalizes. They now lead by 2.
Jack Bell takes the ball low and in. He's 0 for 2 today. But yeah, you're right for Tyler O'Neill. That's not the first time we've seen him be able to nearly escape an inning, but then at the end of it, give up a couple of base runners, inflate that pitch count even more, and now overall there's 10 hits on the board for Falmouth, out hitting Cotuit 10-7, and now a 6-4 ball game as Jack Bell is back to 1-1. Next pitch. Roped into left field. Compton was playing down the line, so having a track to his left, and Caraway will score the 7th run of this ball game. More 2-out hitting from the Commodores as Jack Bell is able to advance to second, that one getting away from Tanner Thatch, and more fielding miscues by the Kettleers, and the Commodores lead it by 3.
That was just a relay throw to the second base bag that skipped behind the glove of Jaron Advincula. Tanner Thatch didn't notice that ball was going wide, and he goes to track it down, allowing Jack Bell to advance in a scoring position, and just another fielding miscue as that goes down as an error for the Kettleers, but good hitting and good 2-out hitting by the Commodores as they capitalize again and now lead by 3.
That goes down as an error on Brandon Compton, but still an RBI single for Jack Bell, who advances on the error to second base, and Trent Caraway scoring from second earned to Tyler O'Neill, who started off this 7th inning great. 2 quick outs, both on the ground. And now 3 straight base knocks after that, but he evens up the count at 1-1 to Donovan LaSalle, and that pitch 72 on the gun. LaSalle batting for Gavin Turley, so you go from one OSU to another. Turley, Oregon State, LaSalle, Oklahoma State. As he rolls this on the ground to Becerra, the two-hopper is gloved and thrown on to first. Dug out by Thatch, and a great play there to complete the third out of this top of the 7th inning, but not before Falmouth adds on 2 more. They lead it by 3. Kettleers trying to come back when we return here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Discover a treasure of nearly 70,000 books at the Isaiah Thomas bookstore right here in Cotuit. Founded in 1969 and relocated to a restored 1860s Crocker family house in 1990. Their shop is a haven for book lovers of any age. Visit the Isaiah Thomas bookstore on 4632 Falmouth Road in Cotuit or contact at 508-428-2752.
Since 1995, MK Pasic Plumbing and Heating has been your trusted commercial and residential plumbing contractor in Massachusetts. They specialize in new and rehabilitation work, gas and pipe fitting, climate control, heating, HVAC, oil burner work, boiler installation, radiant heat, forced hot water, air conditioning, and duct and sheet metal fabrication services. Founded and owned by Michael Pasic, a team of 9 skilled professionals is dedicated to providing top quality service. MK Pasic Plumbing and Heating is registered with the Massachusetts Board of State Examiners of Plumbers and the Department of Public Safety. For all your plumbing and heating needs, contact MK Pasic Plumbing and Heating at 508-420-3429 or at 60 Clamshell Point Lane in Cotuit. MK Pasic Plumbing and Heating, proud sponsor of the Cotuit Kettleers.
Discover
Bottom of the 7th inning, and a new pitcher enters into the ball game for the Commodores. It'll be Edward Hart out of Duke, on to make his 4th appearance of the young summer for the Falmouth Commodores. So far has a 1.8 ERA and 5 innings pitched, and he'll be facing Luke Hansen, 9-1-2 for the Kettleers, Hansen, Thatch, and Compton. But Hansen is ahead 1-0, and he's already 1 for 1 today. Walked in the original game back in the 2nd inning, and then in the resumed game, a single 2 innings ago in the 5th, also scored a run. And now he's ahead in the count 2-0. It was a similar situation for Luke Hansen also, who was batting in the leadoff spot and then took one straight back up the middle. And as a response to that, Falmouth will tug their infield to the pull side strongly for Hansen, who rockets this 2-0 pitch over the shortstop. That one headed to the gap, and it sinks down for a base hit. Back-to-back singles for Luke Hansen, both in the leadoff spot, and that's exactly what the Kettleers needed.
Have a day, Luke Hansen, 2 for 2. Worked a walk, like you mentioned, back in the 2nd inning and making a couple of nice plays at shortstop. And this is exactly what the bottom of the lineup needed for the Kettleers. Consistently have a runner on base for a guy now digging in Tanner Thatch.
Right on cue for Luke Hansen, who is now leading off first base. Tanner Thatch, 0 for 1 today, rockets that one to the left side out of play. Tanner Thatch getting that one in off his hands, and we've seen in the past couple of games a couple of these catchers behind home plate. Haven't seen it from Bowen yet, but they've had some issues with the way that Tanner Thatch has crowded the plate. But from our vantage point, doesn't look to be too far over that line as he takes a big cut at that 77-mile-an-hour breaking ball.
Thatch definitely close to the plate, but Still in that batter's box.
The 0-2. Tanner Thatch facing a left-handed pitcher now, and we've talked about it so much, seeing his lack of production against these lefties. Also facing a lefty last night in Wareham and batting at a 170 clip. Only 8 of his 35 hits are against lefties, and make it 9 as that one goes into right field. Back-to-back singles for the Kettleers to start off the 7th inning, and Tanner Thatch improves to 2 for 4 in this game.
That's an impressive at-bat for Tanner Thatch, falling behind quickly in the count 0-2, laid off a pitch outside, and then got a pitch on the outside corner, turned on it and hit it to right field. And you mentioned the struggles that Thatch has had against lefties, staying within himself and picking up a crucial second base hit in the inning.
Big chance for Brandon Compton. Back pick to second. Hansen's back in there with a dive. Aggressive throw from Bowen there.
You have to have a lot of confidence in yourself to deliver a strong throw all the way across the diamond down to second base. Hansen diving back in safely.
Compton incredibly productive in the month of July as he takes a swing and miss at a 78 breaking ball. From Hart, he's back to 1-1, and that was after going 262 in June, but responded last month to hit 329. So much production offensively from him, but it really wasn't as much with the slugging percentage and with hitting the ball out of the ballpark, as it was just 2 homers in June in 12 games, 3 homers in July in 21 games. Still looking for that first one in August, but even despite the home run totals maybe being slightly lower on average, has been one of the most valuable players for the Kettleers this summer as he fans and misses again, and he's back to 2-2.
Well, Joe, Compton walked 16 times in 21 games in July, had a .448 on-base percentage, and it felt like Brandon Compton, anytime you looked at the box score, was always getting on base, and anytime you looked at first, he usually was on it.
The 2-2. He turns on this one to right field. LaSalle tracking it. He lets it drop in front of him. As the throw goes into shortstop, Thatch is in there safely, and the Kettleers load up the bases for Devin Taylor.
LaSalle just let that ball fall in front of him. Tanner Thatch had to stay near the first base bag and risk and staying close to the bag so he didn't get doubled up, but LaSalle lets that ball fall, and Thatch has to hustle in a second. But have a day, Brandon Compton, now 4 for 4, 3 singles and a double, just continues to rake against Falmouth. He's now 7 for 15 against the Commodores this season.
The only issue with that is Falmouth is currently knocked out of the playoffs, so it puts away any chance of him being able to continue that strong tear against the Commodores into the playoffs, as we got a mound visit here from the pitching coach Mike Landry for Falmouth. But taking a look at the rest of this season and taking a look at the games today that will have a massive impact on the way that the West shapes up for the playoffs, as Hyannis currently in front with a 22-14-2 record, Cotuit behind them at 21-15-1, but big games being played later on today between Wareham and Hyannis. Hyannis is such a strong team at home, but if Wareham is able to win that game, improve to 22 wins on the season, bring Hyannis their 15th loss, then likely you would like and hope to see the Kettleers win 2 of these next 3 games. And all you really need to do is tie Hyannis for first place, because they have that tiebreaker. But the mound visit concludes, and Edward Hart stays in the game as Taylor flips that one foul. But if they want any chance of the first place spot in the West Division, it likely starts right here with the bases juiced, down 3 in the 7th inning to Falmouth. Taylor already 0 for 1 today with the runner in scoring position. Now he hits this one hard, twisting down the left field line. Past the line it goes, and into the corner, foul.
This is a big at-bat for Devin Taylor, already down in the count 0-2, and a couple of opportunities earlier in the game with runners in scoring position, but just got underneath balls and popped them up.
Hard set. Taylor shoots this one on the ground through the left side of the infield. That's a base hit. Thatch gets held up at third. Hanson scores easily, and Rose loses the baseball, but the bases will stay juiced. And with nobody out, the Kettleers can continue hitting, but that's got to feel great for Devin Taylor, who is able to notch a single, and his first RBI since last night, his 16th of the summer.
A huge at-bat for Devin Taylor. Quickly fell behind in the count 0-2, and then got a pitch low in the zone, shot it the other way, and just a crucial hit as Taylor, before last night, really scuffling with runners in scoring position. Had a couple of hits last night with runners in scoring position. Picks up another one here and coming at a crucial time.
Now another big spot for Easton Winfield. Flips that one foul, and we were talking about it after the last time he was up, where he was in the midst of a really hot stretch when these two teams were playing and has been cold since then, but jumping back into the swing of things here with a 2 RBI single back in the 5th inning. So overall in this game, he's 2 for 3 with 4 RBIs. 0-1, he checks his swing. Did he go around? No, sir.
Winfield now with 4 doubles on the season, 7 RBIs. This being his 13th game played as a Kettleer.
1-1, he rolls it over towards first base. Roach, a tough play, who taps the bag, throws home. In time to get Thatch, a double play unconventionally, and Falmouth is able to hold the Kettleers at 5.
Actually, Roach didn't tap the first base bag. He just went home with the play, so an interesting decision by Patrick Roach just to get the out at home, cutting down Tanner Thatch, and his throw was off the line, but perfectly, and right where Carson Bowen could slap the tag on Tanner Thatch coming home, but an interesting decision. That ball was hit right at Roche. He could have easily stepped on the first base bag and gotten the double play, but he decides just to go home and get the one out.
So they get the lead runner. Still just 1 out in the inning. And the bases are still loaded for the now pinch hitting Grant Jay. So Matt Klein's day is done. He winds up going 0 for 3 in this ball game. He didn't get the start last night, sends it to his catching mate Grant Jay, who started last night for the Kettleers. A 2 RBI single early on in that ball game, and now he gets underneath this one. Pops it up just beyond the infield. Roach under it, battling the wind, still tracking over, and he can't catch the ball. Coming in to score from third is Compton. The throw is in time. They got him. What a play by this Falmouth infield, as Roach wasn't able to catch that baseball, but Donovan LaSalle backs him up and a seed home to nab Brandon Compton for the 3rd out of the bottom of the 7th inning. So the Kettleers are kept at 7-5 thanks to some stellar defense by these Falmouth Commodores. And we move into the 8th here on the Kettleers Radio Network.
Each week, the Cape Cod Baseball League is honoring those who served with Red Shirt Fridays. Every home team on Fridays wear red Cape League uniforms and an Army camouflaged hat. For every Friday game at Lowell Park, the Kettleers are honoring a hero of the game presented by the Massachusetts State Lottery. For exclusive Red Shirt Friday gear like fitted player hats, head to the Kettleers store at the ballpark. We hope you can join us for a Red Shirt Friday at Lowell Park this season. For over 40 years, Vollmer & Son Construction has proudly served its community, providing a wide range of construction services, from bathroom renovations to complete home remodels. When you work with Vollmer & Son, you are being taken care of by natives of Cape Cod who support the community by using local suppliers and subcontractors. Vollmer & Son Construction, a proud sponsor of the Cotuit Kettleers.
Looking to connect with the right business? Zoom Info's got you covered. With a database of over 100 million company profiles, they provide top-notch data to boost sales and marketing growth. Since 2007, Zoom Info's B2B data quality has ensured that businesses have the best intelligence right at your fingertips. Discover more at zoominfo.com and see how you can get connected today.
Dylan Howanitz is into the game for the Kettleers, on to make his 6th appearance of the summer. Has so far only thrown 4 innings across those 5 appearances, though. 6 earned runs, 7 hits, 3 hits batsmen, and 3 walks. But it's Howanitz, the overall 2nd pitcher used in this game, but today the 2nd arm used by Mike Roberts, as O'Neill goes 5 frames, gives up 4 earned runs on 7 hits, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. And we'll see how long Howanitz is able to stay in this game, as his season-long innings 2 times have been an inning and a third. Other than that, 0 outs completed against Chatham, 1 complete inning against YD, and then a third of an inning his last time out against Harwich. So it's been a short leash for Dylan Howanitz so far, who faces Patrick Roach, 7, 8, and 9 for the Commodores. And geez, where did that one miss? Perfect pitch low and inside, but still a 1-0 count here on Roach, who is 1 for 1. Also worked to walk back in the 4th. So Dylan Howanitz, someone who is coming off of his final season at Westchester University, just graduated there, as that one takes down in the dirt. A 3-0 count now to Patrick Roach. But someone who had a record-breaking year at Westchester this past season, 31 appearances, ranking 2nd in all of Division II baseball this season, and breaking a Westchester record, as Roach was showing the bunt there, but he pulls it back and it's a called strike 1. Now back to 3-2 against Roach. Nice job by Dewey Howanitz to work his way back into this at-bat, starting him off 3-0, but all of his pitches pretty much in the neighborhood around the strike zone. 3-2. Roach swings and misses strike 3. Great strikeout from Dylan Howanitz, who battles his way all the way back into that count. 3 straight strikes, and he picks up the strikeout.
That's a huge strikeout for Dylan Howanitz after falling behind in the count 3-0. And we've seen it a couple of times this year where Howanitz has come out of the bullpen for Mike Roberts, faced just 1 or 2 batters, and thrown about anywhere between 4 to 8 pitches, and then he's yanked out of the game, but battles back here and picks up a massive strikeout.
Now a 1-0 count to Carson Bowen, and he's going up against Dewey Howanitz for the first time, who broke the Westchester all-time appearance record this year with 72, and that was compiling his last 2 seasons. As that one is hit on the infield, Howanitz, it's in and out of his hand, as the throw there is not going to be in time. Carson Bowen beats it out up the first base line. We'll see how they rule that one, but it's not the first time that Howanitz has been tested in the infield this week.
That is not a couple of bunts that Howanitz was going over the field and losing the footing, but this time tried to go with the bare hand, just couldn't get a hand on that ball as it goes down as a single for Carson Bowen. So he's now 3 for 4 and 3 for 3 on August 3rd, and just an excellent day for the Commodore catcher.
Howanitz now facing Isaiah Barquette with 1 gone in the inning, and how big was it just to get that first out?
It was vital, especially when you consider he fell behind in the count 3-0 against Roche and battle back and throw 3 competitive pitches to get the swing and miss. It was vital.
We've seen him struggle and having to pitch a lot of times with runners on base, and that's something that, whether he's entered into the game with already runners on base or he's been the one who gives them free passes, it's just something that Howanitz has struggled with. But that one recently, just kind of a seeing eye single that hit no man's land for Carson Bowen, and it's been that kind of a day for him at the plate. But he takes a short lead over at first, and now Isaiah Barquette, who is 0 for 2 today, is ahead in this count 3-0.
Not the spot that you want to be in if you're Dylan Howanitz here. 3-0 count already. Carson Bowen leading off first in the top of the Commodore lineup, just waiting in the on-deck circle.
Difficult part of the lineup to have to face upcoming. Been held silent since the 4th inning, though. 3-1 pitch is upcoming, but they'll check back at first, and Carson Bowen in there standing up. But Bowen just continues to tear the cover off the ball on Kettleers pitching now. 7 for his last 11 appearances against the Kettleers at the plate, as that one is up and outside, and headed to first is Isaiah Barquette, so they'll put runners on base on first and second for the third straight inning. And here comes the top of the order.
This is a tough spot for Dylan Hawanitz after giving up the one-out single to Bowen, issuing the walk to Isaiah Barquette, and squaring off against Robbie Bolin, Zion Rose. Jason Jones has had 2 hits today and definitely can't afford to make any more mistakes, already trailing by 2 runs.
Bolin started the game on first base for Jackson Willits, who was on first before the rainstorm washed out the original game on July 25th. And there's a called strike 1 on Robbie Bolin, who is 0 for 2 after the 4th inning, a couple of groundouts. But now runners on first and second once again for the Falmouth Commodores, as there has just been 1 3-up, 3-down inning in this game for the Kettleers, and that one backs him up off the plate. It'll be a 1-1 count to him. But he's facing Hawanitz, who's getting his second taste of summer ball this season. Played for the BC Battlejacks in the Northwoods League in 2023. Has that 1-1 offering misses low and inside. And Hawanitz was saying how that was a real eye-opener for him playing in the Northwoods last year, because going from a Division II program in Westchester, was able to test himself and have an opportunity against some of the top players in college baseball from the ACC, Big Ten, SEC. And that one rolled foul, now 2-2 to Bolin. But he said it just helped him learn and find out where he stood in college baseball, and building some confidence against some of the best players in the country is something that he was able to do. And so after another productive campaign at Westchester, where he made all of those appearances, 31 with a 3 ERA out of the bullpen, and now there's strike 3 to pick up his second of this inning. He's taking his talents to Boston College after this summer.
And he had success last summer in the Northwoods League. Had a 1-2 record in 25 appearances, a 3.12 ERA, and 34 2/3 innings pitched, and was an all-star as well. Even closed 8 games, and that gave him the confidence, like you mentioned, to go back to Westchester and now up with the Kettleers.
But he hasn't really been used in the same situations that he has been used up here with Cotuit, as entered in as a specialist at a lot of times, and that's something that Mike Roberts really hones in on for a lot of these pitchers who maybe it doesn't matter if they made 16 starts at school, doesn't matter if they were the closer. You can see them in the 4th, 5th innings of ball games just needing to get 1 or 2 outs. But Hawanitz started off this 8th inning, now he's trying to complete it. And there's a called strike 2 on Zion Rose. So 1-2 is the count on Rose, who led off this game with a 2 RBI single in the 3rd inning. And from there, Falmouth has run with it, but Cotuit trying to come back. It's now 7-5, and Hawanitz trying to keep it at that. The 1-2. Rose watches it go in the lefty box. So the game on July 25th was Rose's first start against the Kettleers. He continues that today and is 1 for 4. The 2-2, fouled straight back. So Dewey Hawanitz, just finishing up his 4th season at Westchester, will spend his final year of eligibility at Boston College, and the 2-2 home. Misses everything, gets away from Grant Jay. Both runners move up. And Grant Jay, the newly inserted catcher, has had to work really hard back there early on in his appearance.
That he has, and Hawanitz, crafty specialist, like you mentioned earlier, Joe, and has a wide variety of pitches, a lot of soft pitches, and tries to induce weak contact there, and just lost the handle of that breaking ball, going right back to the backstop.
So it's another big 2-out opportunity for Zion Rose, as this 3-2 offering is flicked off the end of his bat and straight into the glove of Devin Taylor, who on a jog pulls down the 3rd and final out of the top of the 8th inning. So the Kettleers and Dewey Hawanitz are able to strand 2 runners in scoring position. They still trail 7-5 as we go to the home half of the 8th here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
We move into the bottom of the 8th inning with Cotuit trailing by 2 runs, and some fans making their way to the ballpark today. And Alex, you mentioned it, not a far drive from Falmouth. You do it every single day, and it looks like pretty similar contingency from both sides on the home and away grandstand.
It's not a far drive at all. It takes me about anywhere with traffic, anywhere from 25 to 35 minutes, and not a bad drive at all. And always good to see more fans coming out and supporting the Cape League.
Hope to see a strong crowd tonight at Gov Fuller Field as they wind their season down, recently being eliminated this week by the Bourne Braves a couple of nights ago with an 11-4 loss at Doran Park, and that was able to knock Falmouth out of the playoffs. They were able to make it last year, made it to the West Division Finals, and we're not able to make it to the West Division Finals as that was between Hyannis and Bourne, but Falmouth with a really strong club last year. I mean, obviously, it goes without showing that they had a strong team with the first overall pick who went in the draft this year, as Nathan Hall is back in the count 1-2 on Edward Hart.
The guy who had a lot of success against the Kettleers and every other team on the Cape.
Already having some success in the Guardians organization as Nathan Hall chases after a low and away breaking ball, and he goes down on strikes to start off the bottom of the 8th. But always got to remember that 6-for-7 day that Travis Bazzana pulled off here at Lowell Park in their 27-2 win.
You were telling me about that game, and I think what makes it more impressive is the fact that he was 0-for-1 in his first at-bat, and he was 6-for-6 in the final 6 innings of the game.
All of that offense coming after the 3rd inning, and it's kind of similar to today, but yeah, just unbelievable stuff from Bazzana, and even cooler this week that he's able to make his way to Lake County as that one is off the end of the bat of Advincula. Charging in on it is Bolin, and he makes the grab. So given a ride by Jaron Advincula, but he's back to 0-for-4.
Tough day for Advincula. Hit that one on a line, but Robbie Bolin in center field making the grab, making it look easy on the run.
Now Timo Becerra, he's also 0-for-3. That one ties him up, goes off of his front foot. But Falmouth has been able to take the names of a lot of strong college baseball players, and you look at a lot of the guys who were maybe unable to play for Falmouth last summer and the last couple of summers, but were still set to play on that roster. Guys like Jace Laviolette, obviously Jack Caglione, who wasn't able to make it here last summer, but was also set to join that roster. Luke Heyman was another strong player on that team last year. It was a really good baseball team, obviously led by the #1 overall pick in the 2024 draft this summer, Travis Bazzana, who recently hit his first career home run this week. Grand slam for the Lake County captains. I mean, we have to bring it up because Tyler Danberg was here last summer and he got to have the call on that one, and not the first time that he's been able to call a Travis Bazzana home run, that's for sure.
I think I've watched that home run on loop for the past 24 hours. An excellent call, an excellent home run, and couldn't have happened to two better people.
That's so true. And, you know, just talking with Tyler this week, he says it's so cool about Bazzana that he just remembers each and every play from that game where he went 6 for 7, a career day for him, and just clearly someone who loves the game of baseball, incredibly humble, and hopefully making a name for himself in the major leagues very soon as Timo Becerra works this count full. Much needed at bat here for Becerra. Struggled at the plate, especially today, with a backwards K and a swinging K. But he's facing Edward Hart for the first time, who comes set at 3-2. Becerra puts the charge into this one down the left field line, but foul.
That ball was smoked by Timo Becerra just out in front on the pitch from the lefty, and those are the type of swings that you want to see from Becerra. A tough day, 0 for 3, but today he's 0 for 2 with a strikeout, looking a strikeout swinging.
Hits that one hard again past the camera well.
Had a productive day at the dish last night with a pair of base hits, and it's always about building confidence for a guy like Becerra, who we've talked about it a lot, the depth for the Kettleers, especially on that left side of the infield. Tyler Cerny, Nolan Araki not playing today. Luke Hansen, he's having a great day, 2 for 2, also reaching on a walk, and Timo Becerra. So all these guys jockeying just to play for that on that left side of the infield.
3-2 to Becerra. Hard hit into left field. Ranging over to get it is Rose, but it goes over his head, back to the fence. Becerra runs around first. He's heading into second, and they'll put a man in scoring position for the aforementioned Luke Hansen.
Well, Zion Rose looked like he had a beat on that ball, was running in, and that ball just went soaring right over his head. And this is a guy in Rose who splits time in a lot of different spots. Plays center field, plays left field, also listed as a catcher on that Louisville squad, who teaming up with the Kettleer catcher, Matt Klein, and this time had a beat on that baseball, just overran it.
No notion in the scoring just yet. Looks like that might go down as a hit for Timo Becerra, improving to 1 for 4. And now here's Luke Hansen. We're just talking about that. It's been a great day at the plate for Hansen so far. 2 for 2. He walked back in the original game on July 25th. He's 2 for 2 since then with a pair of runs scored, both of those hits in the leadoff spot. So even if you look at that, if Timo Becerra makes the third out of this inning, you're still able to have Hansen lead off the ninth. But of course, you want to get the bat in his hands in this 8th frame, as that's the 12th hit on the day for the Kettleers. 12-12, evened up between Cotuit and Falmouth. 1-0 to Hansen, upstairs.
You want to get the bat in his hand and potentially have the top of your lineup come up. Tanner Thatch, he has 2 hits today. Brandon Compton has been on in every single at-bat that he's had. He's 4 for 4. So you want to make sure that you're getting on and having base runners on for the top of your order.
Tanner Thatch awaits on deck. Here's the 2-0. Low and inside, scooped up by Bowen. Great job by him just to keep it in front, get a piece. Keep Becerra on second base, and now a 3-0 count for Luke Hansen. I know you asked me this the other day. Do you think you could see a swing out of him here?
I think with how hot he's been at the dish so far today and the big hole on the right side of the infield, I think you could see Hansen take a swing.
Here it comes. He watches it go by all the way. A lot of arm side run on that pitch. 3-1 to Hansen. So continuing his start today, his last start was on July 31st at Orleans. Before that, it was in this very contest. 3-1. Bounced in the dirt, and Hansen is headed to first for the 4th time in this ball game. 2 for 2. 2 singles, and now 2 walks for the right-handed swinger out of Virginia.
Now a mound visit for the Commodores, and a wise move for the infield all to huddle up and talk about this massive at-bat upcoming, the go-ahead run. Digging in, it's Tanner Thatch, a guy who's been so productive this year, has come up clutch for the Kettleers and on so many different occasions, but has struggled against left-handed pitching. We detailed it in his last at-bat. Although he did get a single against Edward Hart, it's a guy who is still hitting under 200 against left-handed pitching this year, so you can't afford to make a mistake to Thatch because he will make you pay.
2 hits already in this game. He's 2 for 4, and there's nobody warming up in the Falmouth bullpen. And it looks like there's just one man sitting in the bench that's in the Falmouth bullpen right now. It's the bullpen catcher. And with how hot it is today, everybody else shielding themselves towards the shade in the right field corner. That's where the entire Falmouth bullpen is right now. See if we can get a camera shot on that in a few moments. But Tanner Thatcher, big moment right here with 2 gone and 2 on. He takes low and outside. Bowen thought about throwing to second, but he puts it in his back pocket, and it's a 1-0 count to Tanner Thatch. Thatch with 2 singles already. One of them was against Edward Hart just an inning ago in the 7th. Pitch. Balk called. Balk called on Edward Hart. Unsure which umpire made that call, but Timo Becerra, Luke Hansen, they're moving up to third and second. Well, there you go. There you have a look at the lone bullpen catcher in the right field bullpen right now. Likely seeing some activity in a few moments if the Kettleers are able to extend this inning. Next pitch to Thatch. It ties him up. Jam shot to right field. LaSalle ranging in, and he will make the grab after losing his cap. And the Kettleers, even though they put 2 runners in scoring position in the bottom of the 8th frame, they're both left there, and they still trail by 2 as we go to the 9th here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Operating on Cape Cod since 1988, Advanced Embroidery has garnered national awards in embroidery and screen printing. They offer screenings on golf shirts, Oxford shirts, jackets, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and bags. Advanced Embroidery will print your company's or team's logos anywhere. Thousands of satisfied customers can attest for Advanced Embroidery's attentive customer service, tight quality control, and quick turnaround time. They're open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday on 38 Plant Road in Hyannis.
Beacon Gardens is a full-service garden center right here in Mashpee. They sell a variety of landscaping materials and seasonal produce to both consumers and landscaping professionals around the Barnstable Village. Stop by and see all Beacon Gardens has to offer at 182 West Barnstable Road in Austerville.
The Kettleers baseball clinics are well underway in the summer of 2024, offering boys and girls ages 6 through 17 with the opportunity to learn from some of the most experienced coaches and some of the top college baseball players in the country. With no prior baseball experience necessary, the camps teach kids the fundamentals of baseball, as well as good citizenship, sportsmanship, and character. With just a few weeks of camp left, time is running out. So to sign up, head over to info.collegebaseballcamps.com/CK. Again, that's info.collegebaseballcamps.com/CK. We hope to see you there.
Well, there's a look at the Falmouth bullpen as we move into the top of the 9th inning. Not much action out there right now as Edward Hart has worked smoothly through 2 innings, and this Falmouth bullpen has been able to hold the Kettleers to just 3 earned runs in the 6 innings that they've played so far today after MJ Seo gave up 2 earned in the start back on July 25th. But we'll see if anybody gets up and warming, as they're going to have to get 3 outs in the bottom half of this frame as Dewey Hwanitz is trying to keep this score at 7-5. And a good start right there as he's ahead of Jason Jones 0-1. Jones 2 for 4 in this game. That one catches the zone on the outer portion. Another great pitch from Hwanitz, and that's something that he really struggled with in the 8th inning, which was getting ahead of batters.
That he did, but Hwanitz worked in and out of trouble after allowing Carson Bowen and Isaiah Barquette to reach base. Got Robbie Bolenzai and Rose to get out.
Jones stays alive.
Stranding 2 runners in scoring position, and that's what you want to see from Dylan Hwanitz. Although the control might not be there, working in and out of trouble and stranding runners in scoring position, that's a sign of a guy who might not have his best stuff today, but trusted enough to get a couple of crucial outs.
I heard from Dewey the other day that he didn't really have his best stuff in the game against against Hyannis, but was still able to work through that outing and get through it even despite the Kettleers' loss, as they have now lost 4 straight going into this contest. Jones up to 2 for 11 against the Kettleers this summer, the 0-2. That one stayed low the whole way in, and a 1-2 count to Jason Jones. Two and two to the right-handed hitter out of Oklahoma State, who is the starting outfielder, one of the starting outfielders for the West Division in the All-Star game. Went 1 for 4 at the plate last night. Now he rolls this one on the ground towards Advincula, scoops it and throws to first in time to get Jones there for the first out of the ninth.
One All-Star grounding out to another All-Star there is job by Dylan Hawanitz, retiring the last 3 hitters he's faced, getting the weak ground out to Advincula at second.
Here's Trent Caraway, who just finished up his freshman season at Oregon State. Takes up and away. Missed 4 to 8 weeks during this season at OSU. Broke his finger, missed 4 to 8 weeks, and then made his return to the roster and hit .339 in his 18 games played. 1-0 misses upstairs. Caraway, one of the many young talented players on this Falmouth team. Hitting at a .260 clip going into this ball game, but a guy who has been listed by MLB.com to go in the first round of next summer's draft. Joining some Kettleers on that list as well, Tanner Thatch. Mainly one of them. Devin Taylor, Brandon Compton. Plenty of guys on this team who are set to go in high rounds in next year's draft as Caraway takes a 3-1 advantage in this count on Hawanitz. He ripped an RBI double down towards left field his last time up. That was a big 7th inning that's holding up for the Commodores as that one backhanded by Becerra over the line. He throws in time at first. Nice play by Becerra to pick up the second out of the 9th inning.
Sarah making it look easy at the hot corner, going with the backhand on a chopper down that third base line. Makes a nice scoop, the long throw in plenty of time to nab Caraway for the second out.
Jack Bell is 1 for 3 today after hitting for Gavin Keelan. RBI single an inning ago with 2 gone, and now the first pitch from Hawanitz in there for strike 1. Another great job by Hawanitz to get ahead of the batter. And it seems like the second inning is really when Hawanitz has settled down. 0-1. It's not the first time that we've seen him really settle into ball games as he works deeper into the game. We saw him against Bourne enter into that ball game. He did give up a couple of earned runs, but was really effective in his second inning of work, as was he in YD, his appearance before that. Now a 1-1 count on Bell. But we were talking about it last year, how he's taking his 5th year of eligibility, only year left of college baseball, to Boston College, and said knowing that he had an extra year, and with the success that he had at Westchester and in the Northwoods League, he felt that he put himself in a good spot to play in the ACC next summer, or next year I should say. But he gave himself that opportunity by capitalizing on those summer ball experiences, and that's what he's trying to do here as Compton battles the wind but makes the grab down the left field line for the third and final out of the top of the 9th inning. So Dewey Hawanitz does his job. 3 up, 3 down in the top of the 9th frame. Kettleers down 2, their last chance after this here on the Kettleers Digital Network. Construction is your go-to provider for all excavation, drainage, and waterworks services. On top of that, they offer landscape filling materials such as sand, native stone, gravel, shells, and more. Serving Cape Cod and the islands for 30 years, Bortolotti Construction is committed to serving its community. Visit at 45 Industry Road in Marston's Mills or call 508-771-9399.
Coastal Rentals is the place to go for professional landscape and construction equipment. Whether you need tools and equipment for commercial use or for your own projects, Coastal Rentals has what you need. Purchasing gear is also available. Check out Coastal Rentals today.
Cotuit Library. Since its founding in 1874, the Cotuit Library has served its community with an expansive collection that continues to grow. Their staff is dedicated to serving all ages, offering youth events weekly. The library has dozens of events scheduled throughout the summer, so be sure to head to the website at cotuitlibrary.org to see what's coming up next. The library is located right off Main Street. The Cotuit Library, a proud sponsor of the Kettleers.
Be a part of historic Lowell Park and support the Cotuit Kettleers by purchasing a paver engraved with your personal message to be placed in the new Walk of Champions. For more information, visit the Cotuit Kettleers website.
It's 2, 3, and 4 for the Kettleers as we go into the bottom of the 9th frame, and Cotuit already lost 4 straight games going into this one, and Falmouth is 3 outs away from completing a 7-5 victory over the Kettleers in a game that was resumed from July 25th. The Kettleers looking for their first home win since they beat Wareham right here at Lowell Park all the way back on July 19th. 6-1 win. 1-0 count to Brandon Compton. Gets a piece of that one, flares it. Deep into foul territory goes Jason Jones, and down the line it falls in front of him, so that one's staying in the field of play, but he's just unable to make the grab.
Jones had to run a long way to track down that baseball. Just ball falls, and sigh of relief for Brandon Compton.
Compton given another chance, as he and the next 2 in this lineup has all reached base at least 2 times in this ball game. Here's the 1-1. Hart misses outside. Compton led off this game for the Kettleers, starting off the bottom of the 3rd inning, as that was the first time that they came up to bat today, and he ripped a single to the opposite way. More of that would do just fine here, as he's 4 for 4 and takes outside 3-1. And even if you're Brandon Compton right here, the way that you've been swinging the bat, it pretty much has to be a perfect pitch if you're swinging at this one.
That it does. He's 4 for 4 today with 3 singles and a double, and especially down 2 runs, you need to make sure the pitch is in the zone.
It barely misses low and outside, and he's on his way to first.
That's a tough take by Brandon Compton. Not sure where that pitch missed, but he'll take it, and the Kettleers will take it, as now the game's tying run digging in with Devin Taylor, as Brandon Compton, ultra productive, has reached in all 5 of his plate appearances in this game.
And now Devin Taylor, who is 1 for 3 today, 1 for 3 overall in the game as well, and he'll watch a breaking ball dot the outer portion, 0-1. Well, you like the consistency from Jacob Ashworth, as there's been a couple of those pitches low and outside to lefties, low and inside to righties that have maybe been pretty close but not called for strikes, and that one misses everything upstairs. 1-1 to Taylor. Here's the 1-1. Taylor gets a piece but rolls it straight back. Devin Taylor, a preseason All-American this spring by perfect game, was able to follow through on that mark by going on to have an incredible season at Indiana. Now he flicks this one foul, and into the home grandstand it goes, and he is still down 1-2. But in 59 games for the Hoosiers, led the team with a .357 batting average. That was also in the top 10 in the Big Ten. Leading the team in hits, homers, and slugging percentage. Here's the 1-2. Up and away. And seemingly the only offensive category that he didn't lead his team in was RBIs. And his Kettleers teammate, Tyler Cerny, who doesn't get the start today, has him in that category, 60 driven in. Next pitch, Taylor swings and misses at a breaking ball that just fooled him all the way. And there is 1 gone in the 9th.
It's a big first out for Edward Hart, facing the middle of this lineup, and all lefties right in this heart of the order, as it looks like the Kettleers are going to make a change. Easton Winfield was due up. But a big first strikeout against Devin Taylor, who's now 1 for 4.
So here is Tyler Cerny. His 30th game played so far this summer, at 196 hitter. And he watches a breaking ball dot the zone for strike 1. Cerny got the start in last night's game, went 1 for 4 before being pinch hit for at the end of that ball game. Couple of flyouts, a strikeout, and a single in the second inning. Now he gets a hold of this one. Shoots it through the 6-5 hole on the left side of the infield, and that gets through. Tyler Cerny with a base knock and a pinch hit appearance, and the Kettleers will put runners on first and second with one gone.
Proves to be a very good decision by Mike Roberts. Avoiding the lefty-lefty matchup with Hart against Winfield, goes to his bench, brings on Tyler Cerny, who just grounds the ball through into left field, and now you have the game-winning run at the dish and a runner in scoring position. So this is a crucial at-bat for a struggling Grant Jay.
Huge at-bat for Jay, who was in a similar spot last night. Runners in scoring position and a chance to even up the ball game against Wareham, but he flew out to right field, and he takes low and outside here, 1-0. Popped out on the infield his last time up, and that was with the bases juiced, so he was called out on the infield fly on the ball that dropped on Roach. And then the throw came into home plate to get Brandon Compton, 1-0. Inside, 2-0. So there have been some runs left on the board that the Kettleers haven't been able to score today, and that was more of the story from yesterday's game. 18 hits, 9 runs scored. And now here's the 2-0 count to Grant Jay as they trail by 2. Jay rolls that over to third, and it's foul.
So again, 13 hits today, just 5 runs scored as they've left 8 guys on base. Have hit well with runners in scoring position, however, 4 for 10.
Mike Roberts cheering him on, telling him to push one into the gap somewhere. 4 for 28 for a 143 clip is Grant Jay against lefties, and the 2-1. In off of his hands, he fouls it straight back. To go along with that, a 115 hitter with runners in scoring position, 3 knocks with 9 driven in. 2 of those 3 hits have left the yard. The 2-2. Called strike 3, they got him. Big strikeout for Edward Hart, and there are now 2 gone in the 9th.
The Falmouth dugout fired up after that strike 3 call, dotted at the zone against Grant Jay, who goes down on strikes, and just a pivotal second out for Edward Hart. Now the Kettleers' hopes in trying to snap this 5-game losing streak lie in the hands of Nathan Hall.
Nathan Hall, the last chance for the Kettleers. Here it comes. That misses low and in. And you were talking about it, Alex, the last time he was up, even though he is 0 for 4 today. Ripped an extra base hit last night. Was just tearing the cover off the ball all game against Wareham. Long look in from Hart. Here it comes. Chopped on the ground to third, but in foul territory, and a 1-1 count on Nathan Hall, who through 23 games so far this summer is hitting at a .358 clip. Someone who has been in and out of the starting lineup at games last night could tell Mike Roberts that he should be in the lineup nearly every single day.
You think if Nathan Hall could just find his way to get on base and keep this game alive, you have Jaron Advincula, and despite the tough day at the dish, he's 0 for 4, a guy who mashes against lefties, hitting .422, 19 hits, and 45 at-bats, and your top contact hitter waiting in the on-deck circle.
1-1 to Hall. Takes a 2-1 advantage. Yeah, it's a good point that you bring up. Jaron Advincula actually hitting left-handed pitching better than he hits righties. And not the only guy on this team to do so. Devin Taylor as well. But you obviously want to give the man who has led the CCBL in batting average all year a shot at the end of the game, as Hall flips that one foul over the press box and out of play. So unplayable for Carson Bowen as Hall continues to stay alive and foul off these pitches, but it's a 2-2 count on him as he's facing Edward Hart, who is trying to complete his fourth appearance this summer in a big way. It's a 2-2 count to Nathan Hall. Runners are on first and second. Here comes the payoff pitch. Hall rolls it foul to stay alive once more. So going into this game, Edward Hart has allowed just 1 earned run, 5 hits, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Clean pitcher who has settled into the back of this bullpen for Falmouth. Nathan Hall, the last chance for the Kettleers. The 2-2 once more. And he makes this count full. It's a great at-bat here from Nathan Hall.
6 pitches so far, laid off a couple of tough pitches, and now works the count full, and that's exactly what we've seen from a guy in Nathan Hall this year who continues to be a tough out, even despite a tough day at the dish being 0 for 3.
Hart set once more. Here comes the 3-2. Hall chops it straight back to the mound. Hart bobbles it for a second. His toss to first is in time. Ball game over. Nathan Hall working a 7-pitch at-bat at the end of this ball game, but it winds up being the 5th straight loss for the Kettleers as they fall to Falmouth 7-5.
Once again, just another tough loss for the Kettleers, and another game that Mike Roberts is going to say that they didn't play a complete game. And you really look at the box score, they had 5 runs on 13 hits, and the offense once again did it, but it was another fielding miscue, but just timely hitting for the Commodores, and that's something that you like to see. They hit 5 for 12 with runners in scoring position, and they jumped out of the gate right away in that 3rd inning. They set the tone. Zion Rose hit a 2 RBI single, and they jumped out to a 5-2 advantage just an inning later when Carson Bowen laced a 2 RBI double, and it's consistently hard for the Kettleers to always find themselves trailing and falling behind in ball games. And just like that, I think Adele Huffman and Mike Roberts are ready for us in a moment.
Yeah, they are in just a few moments as the Kettleers recently dropping their 5th straight game and another loss to the Commodores this season as it is a resumed game from July 25th. And right now, Adele Huffman is joined with Mike Roberts at field level. Adele?
Thanks, Joe and Alex. Coach, today keeping it close throughout the entire game, how important was tonight's game?
Well, it's really important. We're struggling. I probably should have gotten our starting pitcher out a little bit earlier and gone to the bullpen. I was trying to wait till we got closer, and I waited a couple pitches too late. But, they tried hard, and, we had our opportunities. We just didn't capitalize.
Coach, how important is a strong defense in a close game like today's?
Well, defense and pitching are always number one together. And our defense was a little bit better today. But, again, pitching is a little bit of a struggle lately, and clutch hitting. We had a lot of opportunities, again, out there. We had a lot of base runners out there. We could have easily scored a lot more runs. But some days they fall and some days they don't. And today, again, we just didn't quite get it done. But we look forward to playing tonight.
2 games in one day, the first time we've had that this season. How do you prepare differently for that?
You just get on the bus and go.
Well, thank you, Coach. We'll see you tonight. Be sure to tune in tonight, 6 p.m. at Falmouth. This has been Adele Huffman at Lowell Park, and we'll see you later today.
Well, thank you, Adele, and thank you, head coach Mike Roberts. And that's pretty much, simply put, what they're going to do. They're going to hop on the bus and head down to Gov Fuller Field to play the 2nd edition of this doubleheader, and the Kettleers are going to try to even it up at 1-1. But they just recently were given their 16th loss of the season, falling back to 21-16-1. Falmouth improving to 16-21-1. Well, you'll hear from us at 6 p.m. from Gov Fuller Field. That's going to do it for us today, as my broadcast partner Alex Rocco, Jimmy Chantulis, Abigail Lott on the productions as always. A big thank you to Adele Huffman for doing a great job on the sidelines as well. I'm Joe Pratt. We appreciate you tuning in for this 2nd edition of the July 25th game, where Falmouth is able to squeeze away with a 7-5 victory. And